guys, let's get to work. All right, so today we're covering 3 different variations of escaping side control, okay? There's tons of different escapes from side control, and a lot of that is going to determine on where his body is in relation to mine, okay? What orientation is he? Perpendicular to me? Is he completely parallel? Where is his hands or her hands, okay? So there's a lot of different escapes. So we're just going to cover 1 basic escape that you're going to find, and then 2 variations if they have a certain reaction or a certain body position, okay? So what is side control? Can I use Sullivan for a second? So what is side control, okay? Side control is any position where I am, one person's down, one person's up. I'm past his knee line or his hip line, okay? So I've gotten past his guard, okay? His legs are his guard, guarding, protecting me from getting on top and pinning him to the floor, okay? So anytime somebody's past our guard, on top of you somehow, that's considered side control. Okay, again, there's a lot of orientations of the hand, the body, how my hips are positioned. Okay, a lot of variables with side control. So you need quite a few escapes to really be able to combat every variable that there is in side control. But today we're going to start off with a very basic one, and then a couple of follow-ups if they have a certain body position. Okay, so now let's switch position. Let's say I'm down, Sullivan is past my guard already. However it happened. Just come to this side just for camera. Okay, and feel free to move around, okay? Feel free to move around. Okay, we're going to start off with a traditional side control, okay? Sullivan's near arm to my head is going to be around my face, and the far side close to my legs is going to be underneath my far armpit, okay? This is a traditional kind of boilerplate side control. You're going to find this most commonly the situation you have to deal with, okay? All right, the first thing I need to make sure that Sullivan can't do is advance his position even further. He's already gotten past my guard. If I just, kind of sit here and not think about controlling him for a second, he's going to just slide his knee over to mount. And now I'm in an even worse case scenario because now his hips are completely straddling mine and I have less mobility of my hips, okay? So the first thing I need to do when I feel like I've lost the battle of side control, I need to restrict his movement so that he can't just easily advance to the full guard, okay? My first option is not to escape. I need to fortify my defenses so that the situation doesn't get any worse, okay? So just as he's pinning me between his elbows and knees, I want to think about doing that same thing with my near side elbow and knee, right here. Okay, some people like to show it by they put their foot on their own knee to make it comfortable, but basically I'm trying to pinch his hips between my elbow and knee. Okay, now I'm kind of connected to Sullivan in a way where if he moves to start advancing, I'm going to feel it. Yeah, I can feel his movement, and it's going to be a lot harder for him to do that. Okay, so that's my first goal, is to restrict his movement somewhat. Okay, so I usually like to bring this knee up, pin it up to his hip, because this is the area where I'm actually going to start to escape. Okay, so I can put my knee up, I can just have it up in the air, I can use my other heel to kind of make it a little bit more comfortable for me. Okay. And now this elbow here is going to be my first frame, okay? Anytime we're escaping a position, we need to create some kind of a frame so that when I move, he doesn't just keep following me, okay? I need to restrict his movement again, okay? So from here, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to use both of my feet. What I want to do is I want to bump into him, okay? I want to think about hitting him with my forearm with this hand and using my hips to bridge him away. Okay, that's going to create enough space for me to bring my near elbow inside of his hip and then bring this top side hand around his face. Okay, there's a few ways I can do this one here. You can go around the face or you can swim the wrist underneath the chin. Okay, they're both good, okay, but whatever one you feel comfortable with. It's just very important that I make that little bump first with my hand before I do it. Okay, if I just go right from here and try to bring my arm around, maybe he pins it with his head and he pins it with the other arm now, come around. Yes, right here, you see? And now he's got me in certain positions where I'm going to have to attack. Okay, he's got my shoulder locked in. Okay, so I want to make sure that if I do move this hand, I got to make him think about something else. So that's why I do that little bump. So I bump and then swim inside. Okay, so now I have these 2 nice frames, one in the hip bone and one kind of in the neck area right here. Okay, I can kind of use my elbow against his face to make it a little bit more uncomfortable for him. Okay, just a little extra little tidbit there. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to move my hips away from him. So basically what I'm doing, I'm looking to turn into him and use this left foot in this case to move my hip away. Notice these frames keep him from just following me. Okay, once I made enough space, this knee is going to slide in between his hip line and connect to my elbow. Okay? If Sullivan were to just posture up real quick, everybody can see if you move around, if you can't and you want to see, my knee and elbow are connected to this like kind of V shape. Okay, what I've done is created a nice shield. So now it's very, very hard for him to bear his hip weight on top of me. Okay, I'm not out yet though. Okay, all right. I have to keep moving my hip away as much as I feel necessary to get my knee inside. So it's not like a one-size-fits-all movement. I need to keep moving my hip away as much as I feel like I need to get that nice shield. Okay, right. Now from here, I'm going to keep my feet stationary and I'm going to stretch my shoulders away from him. Okay. What did that do to this hand? It made it really an ineffective frame now, right? I got my arms straight out. So it's not really pushing at anything. So that means it's not really an effective frame anymore. So anytime I have a non-effective frame, I want to find a new position for it, which I'm going to come here. Okay? So I went from pushing on his hip. As I stretch my shoulders away, I'm going to frame across his bicep here. So now I have basically like two arms on one. Okay? Now I continue to move my hips away until I have enough space to bring that bottom knee in and to place it on his foot. Okay, and the other leg can swing around, and now I'm in this kind of like split guard position. Okay, but now I have a guard now. I have my feet in front of his. So I've successfully escaped side control. Okay, I not necessarily have a place to go. I can go to full guard. I can start attacking right here. Okay, but I'm just worried about escaping side control. So I'm not worried about everybody getting to full guard or everybody getting to some kind of, I just want to escape. Okay, so again, we're here. Keep myself nice and tight to him. Elbow and knee connection here, think about it. I bump, slide the elbow in, get the frame in front of his face. And then if he smashes me back down here, that's going to happen. That's okay. Now I have better frames. I move my hip away. Notice how I'm turning on my side. Okay? When I'm on my side, I can handle weight a lot better. If I'm trying to do this flat on my back, it's going to be a lot harder. I need more flexibility, and his weight is going to be able to be more effective on me. So I want to be kind of on my side looking into him. So I get my knee inside, connect to my elbow, stretch my shoulder away, and then get my hand inside. Yeah, he still got his hands together. That's fine. Okay, I'm not going to break. He's got long arms, so it's going to be tough. But now I got two hands on his one frame. Now I can start to stretch my body away. This foot doesn't leave the mat the whole time. Notice, I'm still using it. I can use it to push or hip out. Okay, so I'm just using it to make or close whatever space I need. Okay, I made enough space to get this foot on the far hip, and the other one finds the other hip, and now I'm here. Okay, just so happens this is the kind of position that I kind of play around. It's like called like a split guard. A lot of things I can do from here. I can attack the arm. I can kick the leg through for the triangle. There's a lot of things I can do from here. Okay, most of the time I just try to put pressure on the shoulder. He's usually going to do what? Yeah, he's going to turn away from me. And now I have him in this nice omoplata situation. And he's running. Most of the time I end up just coming on top and turning into a sweep, which is fine. I have escaped side control. I ended up on top. Even better. Okay, so that's the first one. It's just a very simple elbow escape. So he's here. Right now my elbows are outside of his arms. So I bump, elbow comes in, frame comes around, and then I can flatten out if necessary. Okay, you can go right from there. You can go right from the bump to the shrimp. But a lot of times you're going to get flattened back out. That's okay. Move my hip away, connect my knee and elbow, stretch my shoulder. Okay, use my shin and his hip to push away with. Frame, move my hip away, 1, 2, and now I'm here. Okay? Okay? Very good offensive position for here. I got his wrist controlled here. I got his arm trapped right here. He's got nothing. Okay? Very strong position. Any questions? Okay. I'll come around to help you guys out if needed. So now I have Sullivan here. Right? Let's say I'm on top, right? He gets his frames. He gets 1, he gets 2. He starts to shrimp away. Look, I turn my hip to the floor. See, I turn my hip to the floor. Now it's hard for Sullivan to get his knee inside. Right? Because now my butt is more or less on the ground blocking that space. Okay, everybody see the position here? He can continue to hip escape, and he can make the elbow escape work. Keep going. And he can get his knee inside, and then from here he can get back to his guard for sure. Okay? But here's a situation where Sullivan's on his side, and I'm just following him. Okay? I'm following him wherever he goes. Okay? Maybe his frames aren't good enough. Maybe I have a really good grip on him. Okay? All right? So that's the situation that we're dealing with now. So if I freeze, Sullivan's on his side with his frames, and I'm on my hip. Okay? A lot of the times, there's going to be a little bit of space right here. Everybody see this little space between my body and my armpit and his body? Okay? Right? It's a timing thing. You have to time it the right way. As he's moving away, I'm trying to follow him, right? He finds that right timing, and he's going to swim his arm underneath it. Okay, everybody see the movement? Okay. Now from here, he wants to think about like doing like a shot put with his left arm, and he wants to pull with his feet. He's going to come out the back door. So he goes, boom. And a lot of times, I'm going to put my hands on the mat so I don't face plant. And he's going to come up on top, and now he's in a position where he can start to take my back, where he can choke me, or he can get up, push me away, and take off if the situation calls for it. Okay, so there's never a forced engagement. Okay, I can always shove him away and turn and run if I need to. Okay, this one's a really good one in particular because it gets me right to my knees. Okay, so this is just basically the underhook escape. So we're here. I get this one here, I bump, I bring him inside. Yeah, he's here, right here. I gotta time it just the right way. If he stays really, really tight with this armpit, that means he's doing a really good job on top. Okay, but if I time it right, a lot of times as I shrimp, I bring the arm underneath. Look here. There was that split-second opportunity where there was space before he closed it off with his hips. Now I'm here. I throw the arm over my shoulder like I'm doing a shot put with my left arm, and I pull myself underneath. All right? So I freeze right here. I'm past his arm. So there's no chance he's going to headlock me. Elbow comes to the floor, and now I'm on top right here. Okay? All right? Again, from here, I can attack the neck if I want to, get my hooks in and choke, or I can push him away and, run, whatever. Okay? Whatever you want to do. Get up, kick him in the head. Whatever. Okay? All right? But again, what are we trying to do? We're just trying to escape side control. Okay? That's all I'm trying to do. So it's here, I got my first frame, I go up, I get my second frame, we're moving. You see how he's following me? Not enough to get my knee inside, but my hand's a lot smaller than my knee. So I need less space in order to get somewhere. All right, so there's the timing. I shrimp away and I bring my arm in. There it is. Everybody see what happened? I kind of like put my hand on my chest and I brushed down to my stomach. And now it came out. All right, throw. Switch my feet, go to my knees, and now I'm here. Okay, if this is like a grappling situation and not turning away and running, it's very smart for Sullivan to probably bail out and get his guard. Yeah, boom, he's gonna try to turn back and face me so he can get his feet in front of me. If he turns into his knees and tries to go out that way, I can chase his back. Okay, so that's the underhook escape. One more time. Hey, yes, he's got me here. All right, first get my 2 frames. So I go 1, 2. Yeah, he's turning his hip to the floor. All right. If he doesn't follow me as I hip escape, it's gonna work. The regular elbow escape is gonna work. But he's following me with his hips. Yes, there. He's following me. So I have to time it. As the shrimp comes, the hand follows. You see it? It was kind of like a little bumping shrimp. Okay, so I added a little bit of a little pop into him. So I pop in shrimp and bring the arm underneath. Right here. Then I can attack if I want to. Okay? Questions? Let's give it a shot. If they're doing a standard-ish type of side control, okay? Now there's another type of side control. We're going to orient our hands and body a little bit differently. Okay? So this is a standard side control, right? Under the hook and cross face, okay? Now I'm going to go to what's called a north-south position. So, right, the closer I am to Sullivan's legs, the less distance he needs to get his knee inside and start to create a frame. Right? Real easy. Okay? So what happens a lot of times is this. Right? So I position my hands like I go over his head and I block the near hip. Now it's hard to get that actually now I have a good block right here. There's no space for him to get his knees into. And now to get far away from his legs, I'm going to travel my body north-south. You see here? So now I'm so far away from his legs, it's hard for him to get a traditional guard recovery. Everybody see here? Okay? And this is good. I got a lot of attacks. I can attack both arms. I can attack his neck. All right, it's a really good pinning position. Okay, so this is called north-south. Okay, so my head's facing south and his is facing north. Okay, whatever variation you want to call it. Okay? So that's the position that we're dealing with now. Every time I get side control on Sullivan, and I have a traditional side control, he escapes every time. Okay, so let me say, maybe put my hands in a different orientation and my body in a different orientation, and maybe give him something else to deal with, something that's not as familiar. Okay, yeah, that's where we're going. Okay, we're going to go to like a nice prayer position where we can, you know, get our guard back a different way. Okay, everybody see what's going on? Side control. Okay, he goes over the head and then the near hip, blocking the near hip, and then he travels north-south. Okay, okay. All right, this is not what I want. Right here, he can attack my neck, he can attack this arm. Okay, he can attack both arms, so it's no good. Okay, just as the original side control position, I want to try to have my elbows inside. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to bump and I want to try to bring both of my elbows and get to like kind of like a prayer position. So I bump into him and I bring both of my arms inside. Okay, preferably say my right elbow's a little bit outside of his. It's okay. I'm going to bump again, make a little bit of space. However, I need to move so that both of my elbows are inside of his shoulders. Okay, now look, here's the frame. Now I move myself away from the frames, just like every escape that we've learned. Okay, I move myself away from the frame. Okay, now instead of trying to bring my knees this way, okay, I made space, so now I'm going to bring my knees in front of his chest. And then I can use my hands, and I spin myself around, and now I'm right back in that open guard kind of position. Okay, so I just, instead of coming, so I'll stay like north-south. So instead of me trying to bring my knees here, make space here, I can't do that because my legs are over here. So now I create space here between me and him, and I bring my knees in here. Okay, so it's just another version. It's like an inversion side control escape. Okay, so he's here. Every time I'm here, I escape. So he goes different. He goes 1, 2, and he goes side control. Boom. A lot of times I'll use that position, his movement, and I'll get to my prayer position. Right? I can't just do it like this. There's no space. So how do we create space? We push away with our frames, and we shrink away from them. Much space as I need to. Knees come inside. Don't worry about too much the orientation of your legs. Some people like to cross their legs, all right, because you have like some cool submissions that you could do from here. Don't worry too much about it. I just want your knees in between him and you. And then you can use your hands and you can spin out. And now we're here back to some kind of a guard position where we can work. Okay? So one more time. Regular side control. Sullivan adjusts. A lot of times he goes 1, 2 and starts to move. I'll use that movement to bring my elbows inside. Okay, because remember, every time he moves, he has to disconnect with me. He can't squeeze 100% and expect to be able to move to a position. So there's that moment of disconnection where I can reposition my hands where I want them. Look, I move my hips away from the shrimp. Look, all the space right here. Now I got all the space right here. He's going to be trying to push down with his chest. Yeah, go ahead, push down. Right? Yeah, right? So I'm going to bear my weight on right here. That's all I need is a little bit of space. Bring the knees in, start to spin my way out, and now I'm here. Okay? I'm in the same kind of split guard position where I just was when we escaped the regular side control. Okay? It was like more like this, but that's okay. It's the same thing. Okay? Any questions? Okay, let's work.